Hello, my convicts and convicettes. Yes, it is I, the Kappa Convict, bringing you guys and gals another tech tutorial. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get it on and let's talk about DNS benchmark. So what are we doing today? Why are we talking about DNSs? Well, today I wanted to ask you a question, something I've been doing with this for a very long time, and it's actually one of my most viewed and sought after videos is regarding DNSs. And everyone keeps asking, obviously, what's my best DNS? Can you give me the best DNS? What is the best DNS to use? And so on and so forth. And like I've said, everyone, you need to run a test to find your best DNS, especially for this program, which I have talked about in the past. So we're going to go in more depth regarding this, and I'm going to explain to you how it works and why I think having something like this is probably a good idea. So first of all, I'm going to put this in the description below so you can go and download it from the web page. And then obviously we can get on the way and do this together if you want to do it together. So you open up the application, and what will happen is the first thing will happen is you'll start to populate a list here. Now ignore these black line boxes because these won't populate straight off the bat. What will happen actually is the two like DNSs you've already currently got through your basic modem router will actually populate with black lines, but they may disappear down the bottom somewhere. Just depends, obviously, when it's completed. Once it's completed, this blue line has gone to the top, then we can start to work on our DNSs and finding out what is best for us. So once it's populated, you want to run a benchmark for the first time, then allow this blue bar to go all the way to the top. It may take up to about 2, 3, maybe 7 minutes to do. So it doesn't take too long to do it, to be honest. And then once it's completed and it's got very to the top and it's stopped again, then you'll get a pop-up box which will ask you if you want to build a custom list. Now, at this point, you want to try and keep your internet calm and quiet. Maybe turn off Wi-Fi if you can, and do it at a time of day as well that is nice and quiet, that you know is quiet and is not busy and not everyone's using the internet, so on and so forth. Because when you run that test, it'll take 30 to 35 minutes to complete. But what it will do, it will go through each of these DNSs here, and it will actually run these DNSs through your connection and plan out which ones were the best ones, which ones were responding, not responding, which ones were dead, which ones were redirecting your queries. And it'll go through the list and it'll pick you the best to the worst on this list. And obviously the ones at the top, as you can see here, it will sort the fastest as being the first ones. And obviously that's these ones that's up here. So once you've done that and it's done that 30 odd minutes and it's completed, gone to the top of the blue line, then you want to run benchmark one more time. So you click on it, run benchmark. Again, it'll take about 7 minutes. So you only need to do it so for the 30 odd minutes just once. That is it. Once it's built your custom list, it will actually save an INI file and it'll always remember what your custom list is. So whenever you close this application then afterwards and reopen the application, it will just load from the INI file and you can then obviously use your custom list it's designed for you. And that's all you need to do on that. So once that's completed and you've run that benchmark after you've done the 30 odd minute one, then you can come here, right click, and you want to just remove two things: dead name servers and redirecting name servers. Don't touch anything else, just remove dead ones and redirecting ones, because dead ones obviously aren't responding, and redirecting ones means that you're getting to that place but it's then telling you to go somewhere else. It's redirecting you to another page, which apparently Comcast do in the US. So if you're under Comcast, you may want to watch out for that, because apparently they do redirect you, or they have a redirecting thing through their DNSs. Anyway, we'll explain that in a little bit. So once you've completed that and you've done the test and you've removed the dead and the redirecting name servers, then you can start to choose the ones that you want on here. and you want to put them in your modem router. Now, not all modem routers will have access to where you can change DNSs. If you can't do it through your modem router, then obviously the only option is to do it through either PC or through console. To do it through PC, all you do is you go down to where your connection is, you double left click, you then double left click where it's connected. Always try to do this through Ethernet, because Ethernet is obviously the fastest and most reliable way. Double left click again, which will bring you to the settings. Go to change adapter options on the right, and then go to your Ethernet or your connection that is not got a red X by. Right click, properties, then go to IPv Internet Protocol version 4, IPv4. You want to then go to properties, and then you want to go use the following DNSs, and then you want to type those DNSs in here. Now, because I've put mine on my modem router, means I don't have to do that. But once you've put them in, press OK, and that should have completed it. If you do it through your modem router, once again, do the same thing. You want to still come to this page though, because once you've completed that, what you may find out is those DNSs you've got may not be black lined on here, as you can see. And if they're not under a black line, then that means that your system hasn't updated to pick them as the two DNSs. So all you need to do is go to where the Ethernet is, and then right click, disable for a moment, then right click, then enable, and allow the internet then to turn back on. As you can see, I'm not connected at the moment. Excuse me. Let me just get a quick drink. So as you can see, it's identifying, and when it comes back on and your internet's back on, then it will initiate the black lines around the two DNSs that you've chosen. So once it's done that, then we can go to what's called conclusions. And now this is a really important tab. So many people keep asking me, what's the best DNSs? How do I know the best DNSs? Which is primary, which one's secondary? Yada, yada, yada. Just so many questions in regards to DNSs. So you go to conclusions once you've completed all of this. And now what you want to see is a green tick. Now I want to talk about this first one here, especially for people who use the BT Home Hub, because there's a problem. What I've noticed, or what I've seen, is when you actually first come on the page and you've not changed any DNSs, especially on the BT Hub, as I've got the Business Hub, which allows me to change DNSs. On the other ones, especially like the Home Hub 6, I don't think you have access to changing DNSs yourself, which is a pain in the butt, because obviously you want access to be able to do that. But what I've noticed is they would all filter your DNSs through one DNS connection, which is 192.168.1.254, and it would filter all the connections going through that one DNS, and it has other DNSs behind it. But the problem is, because it's one DNS, it would mark this as an X, and it would say, look, you've only got one DNS, and it would tell you and explain to you that obviously it's one DNS with other DNSs redirecting behind it. So it goes through that one DNS, 192.168.1.254, then it redirects to the other DNSs behind. But if that one DNS fails, then obviously it's going to cause problems for your other DNSs, because it's going to send errors to the other DNSs and may not be consistent or be reliable in what it's doing. Obviously, because I've now got two separate, mine's coming up as a green tick, but always check. So when you come here, you want to see green ticks for everything. If there's anything wrong, then you want to read what it's saying, and it will tell you on there. As you can see, it says this system is currently configured to use two separate DNS servers. Name for the resolution, this is keeping with recommended best practice of having at least two different name servers, so that the temporary failure of any single name server will not prevent all DNS name resolution. So basically it's a fallback just in case one fails or becomes overloaded. So you move down and you want all system name servers that are alive and replying to queries, which they are. You want name servers that are optimally ordered, so in the right order, which it is. Here is the optimum order that they should be in: speed rank of 1, speed rank of 2, and these are how I've set them up. So this one's my first one, this one's my second one, and it's telling you speed rank. So make sure that's your primary and that's your secondary. Whichever speed rank 1 you want primary, speed rank 2 or any other number wants to be the second one. So move further down, and as you can see here, another green tick saying system name servers are faster than all of the other public alternatives. So the two name servers I've got are faster than any of the other public ones, which is what we want on here. And make sure that the name servers are 100% reliable on here. And it's saying that these are. So during this test, all the system name servers returned a reply for every request sent. So everything that was sent, it responded. All the system name servers return errors, which is returning errors, which is fine. And system name servers are applying to all query types. Now, if you remember, I mentioned Comcast. Well, if you read this, it says, during the development of DNS benchmark, we discovered that routers use pre-release testers were not returning results of the benchmarks on there, and such as like uncached and /r.com testing queries. Even though these queries are admittedly unusual, they are completely valid. So the only conclusion was that those few routers were inherently defective. The good news here is that your name servers are applying to the unusual but valid queries on here. But it was actually saying there was someone, the Comcast, I think it's maybe on the spoof ability test possibly that I'm thinking of, but it was saying that Comcast was one of the offenders for not doing what it should be doing. I can't find it now. I can't find it now. It was here, but I can't find it. Anyway, doesn't matter. As long as all these are green, then you're good. Everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, some people said to me and were asking, well, how do I know these DNS servers are secure? You know, I don't want to be using DNSs that are not secure. So I kept telling them to come to conclusions, and I said, if you go down to the bottom and you read it, it'll actually give you a place you can go and test. And it's this. It's remember to check spoof ability. So whenever you make a change to name server or not, especially if you do, be sure to verify the security of your final DNS. And you can do that by clicking this link. And my throat is really sore, excuse me. And then it brings you to this page. Once you've come to this page, as you can see, I've done this a couple of times and recorded and thought, no, I want to record it again. Doesn't sound right. You come to this page, then you go to the very bottom, and you will get this initiate standard DNS spoof ability test. So I will run this test. It will take about a couple of minutes to 7 minutes to do this. But this is basically what it does. It goes and it will test each of the DNSs and make sure that the security of them is good enough, that your internet is secure and you've got nothing that obviously is going to cause any security issues for your modem routers or PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it is you're using, and however method you're doing it. Now, I always recommend doing the DNSs through your modem router and changing on there, because what will happen then is it will filter through to all your other devices. You only need to do it through your modem router if you can do it through that and do it once, because it will filter automatically. Just make sure to obviously restart all your devices in your home so that they have a fresh boot up and start using those DNSs. Obviously, if you can't do that, and you can't physically get access to modem router because you're not allowed, it's not yours, it's your parents or whoever, then you can run it through, obviously through your console by going to settings, going to custom selection for your internet setup, and then just automatic, just go for automatic for everything apart from when it gets to the DNS bit. You want to click on that and then add the top DNS and bottom DNS as the two DNSs that it chose on there, which I'll show you again in a moment. So once you've done the test and it's completed, the word you want to be looking for is excellent on there. As you can see, anti-spoofing safety is excellent. It's excellent on this one. It's excellent on this one. And it's excellent on this one. So it's done test queries on these different locations, on these different name servers, as you can see here. They've all come up as excellent. Now you can read all of it if you want to read all of it, but as long as it's saying excellent, then that's all you need to do. It's saying that obviously everything is good, everything is what it should be, and they are secure and safe to use. So if you have any problems with DNSs, just use the spoofability test, which again, like I said, it's down here at the bottom of conclusion, and just use this link right here. So now we know each one of these is green. We know the rank of speed for primary being top, secondary being underneath. And we know the name servers here are black lined so that they are working as intended. And we know this middle one doesn't really matter, even though there is a slight difference between this one and this one. Everything's doing what it should be doing, and everything is Gucci. And like I said, once you've got your test completely run, you've done the benchmark and you've done the 30 odd minutes and you've run the benchmark once again, just make sure that you right click and remove dead and redirecting name servers on there, and that's all you need to do. Now one last thing that can be possibly done is sorting in uncached and checking the performance on that if you want to do that. Now what's the difference between cached and uncached? Cached basically is stored information or part stored information. When your PC looks up a particular website like Google and it pulls up Google and you've closed it, it will actually save some information of that in the PC's cache, so it remembers parts of that web page. So when it goes to reload, it'll preload bits that it's already currently got to reload that page faster. That's cached. Uncached means that it will completely forget what it just searched for, and it will reopen it as a completely fresh page once again. So it will completely disregard all the information, it won't save anything, and then it will reopen it as if it's done it for the very first time once again. And it will do that each and every time for a uncached DNS and not through cached. Now PS4s do use some form of cached, as I did do a little bit of research. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head because it was a while ago, but they do store some sort of cached. But I do know that when they do games, they reload the whole thing again when obviously you're running, but obviously that's through the server. If you change servers, then obviously that's a difference, but the same server is going to reload the same thing. I don't think it really matters as such. It's only if you change from one server to another, which could possibly be like Modern Warfare is doing at the moment, where you do one game, then it kicks you out, puts you in another game, so on and so forth. It's putting you in different servers each time. Each time it does it for some reason, or different games each time on there. So I've not tested out the theory of maybe trying out and using uncached and seeing how that affects connections. That's something I may test in the future and see how we go on in terms of using uncached on there rather than cached. So for now, obviously just leave it as cached, and I think everything should be fine from there. Obviously I've been doing this for quite a lot of years and using this particular program. Like I said, I will leave a link to this program in the description below so you can go and test it and make it really easy for you to find it, as it is pretty easy to do so. You just basically go on here and just put DNS benchmark. If you click DNS benchmark, then it's here at the top. You click, and here is the benchmark. Now this is normally what it looks like at the beginning. It just puts all these name servers up here. As you can see, this is Cloudflare, and that one, I can't remember what that one is now. Quad, I believe it is, or it was called. And you just go down here, you go to download now, and just click on it, and it literally is a super fast program because it's only tiny. It doesn't use any speed at all to be able to download this. As you can see, it's only 147k on there, which is really, really tiny, and then it will reload everything. It'll even give you instructions on how to use it and what you should be doing, as you can see here, and what it's compatible with. But I will leave this in the link, but it's grc.com DNS benchmark HTM, and I'll put that in the description on this video. So hopefully that's helped you. Hopefully it helps out. If you do, let me know in the comments below. If it doesn't, again, let me know in the comments below. And hopefully it will improve the reliability and the consistency of connection. Like I said, it won't make your download and uploads as such any better. It might do fractionally. It might fractionally make your ping just a little bit smaller, but it's more, for me, like a direct route. Like using a sat nav and obviously giving you a direct route from where you are to the location and making it more consistent, so it's not going around the houses, it's going directly there and directly back on the shortest or fastest route possible. Anyway, hopefully enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know who it is. It is I, the Kappa Convict, signing out. And as always, I salute you, my Convicts and Convicettes, and I'll see you soon in another tech tutorial. So hopefully it helped you out. And bye for now.